The Union Pacific Railroad's big blow turbines had a massive appetite for fuel oil, which the railroad supplied by pairing them with rebuilt tenders from retired steam locomotives. These tenders would have long service lives after their use with the turbines. As such, when ScaleTrains made their models of the big blows, they took the opportunity to make a variety of these tenders as well. I purchased 2 of these models some years back, but have had mixed experiences with them. One ran okay, the other liked to go off-roading more than a Jeep. A friend of mine said that ScaleTrains overhauled and retooled their tenders. He alleged that the new ones were better runners. Recently, ScaleTrains had a sale, so I bought 2 brand new tenders to compare with the old ones. For the record, these 2 are the old ones, these 2 are the new ones. A quick history on these tenders. These fuel oil and water tenders were repurposed steam locomotive tenders initially adapted for use holding the bunker C oil burned in the big blow GTEL turbines. When the turbines were retired, some of the tenders were used on sidings for fuel oil storage. Many of these were later snapped up by the Union Pacific Steam Program for conversion into auxiliary water tenders for use behind 844, 3985, and 4014. ScaleTrains has offered models of these tenders from turbine service on down. This tender appears as it would have behind a turbine, and is a 23C model. This one represents a 24C tender, and is painted silver as they were in fuel storage use. Next up is another 24C from the early steam program. Finally, we have 814, a rebuilt tender currently in use behind 4014. I am going to run these tenders through a few basic tests. To pull this test train, what better than this old friend? First things first, I will couple all 4 tenders together and take them through the spot that tripped the trouble-prone tender up when I last tried to run it. That went about as I thought it might. One of my fellow club members had a helpful suggestion on how to clean up the mess. Let's see if we can learn anything watching this in slow motion. Okay, so it appears the silver tender derailed somewhere in the tunnel, caught the switch on the way out, wrenched the black tender off the rails, which in turn twisted the yellow tender in front off in a sideways motion. Let's see how they do independently. The 2 yellow tenders seem to have the least trouble, so I'll run them together. Like butter, which surprised me a little as I thought the second tender might get tripped up. The real test will be with the other 2 tenders. Out of the variations ScaleTrains made, the black 24C I got the first time was not a great performer. I tried modifying it, but eventually just shoved it onto a shelf and almost forgot about it. Let's see how it does now. Did it actually? Let me see if that was a fluke, or if it's behaving now that a camera is on it. Huh, okay. The tender formerly known to me as a disaster area is behaving, at least while a camera is pointed at it. Maybe my modifications helped a little? Let's see how the silver one does. This was the first time I had taken it out of its box. No modifications have been made to the silver tender. Here we go. You can try to hide from the camera all you want, but I know what I saw. I mean, what a pleasant surprise. There are a couple other turnouts on the club layout that I know will truly ferret out problematic rolling stock. Let's see how it does through those. Through the first one okay. That's a bit more dramatic than what I thought would happen, but not unexpected. Let's slow it down a little. So what happened here is that the lead truck derailed on the switch frog and the wheels fell to the right of the rails. The rear truck followed as the front truck met the rails of the adjoining track. The tender was still coupled and being pulled in the direction of the track, but the adjoining rail basically swept the wheels out from under it, and over it went. Once I unbeach this drunken whale, I'll run the black tender through the same turnout and see what happens. Made it. While I'm at it, how about the modern tender? No problem. That's actually better than I expected. So let's take these back to the staging yard, and I'll point out what I think is going on here. The 24C tenders have a lot of detail parts around the trucks, including brake piping and chains, which I think are for the handbrakes, but don't quote me on that. The clearances down here are tight. Really tight. On a perfectly level surface, the trucks seem to swivel freely, but as soon as they take on any sort of angle, the detail parts on the trucks start to foul the body and resist turning, putting more lateral pressure on the wheels. This sideways push can cause the wheels to lift off the rails if the force becomes great enough. It doesn't help that one of the trucks on the silver tender does not want to sit level on the track. I'm not sure if that's a factory flaw or the detail parts fouling things. On my older 24C tender, I bent some detail parts into new positions and cut the chain details off. Not ideal, but I was surprised that the tender actually made it through the trouble spots that used to trip it up. If you look closely at the 23C tender trucks, you'll see that there are not so many details hanging around. The 23C has actually been a solid performer for me. It has appeared at some of the NVMR open houses, traveling up and down the layout behind 4021 with few, if any, issues. The modern tender has many of the same lower details as the 24C, which makes sense as the real one was rebuilt from a 24C tender. This tender passed the initial tests I threw at it, but I will reserve final judgment until I can take it for a more thorough test ride. So far though, so good. In a nutshell, my thoughts on the ScaleTrains fuel and auxiliary tenders are as follows. 23C, no problem. 24C, no way they retooled these, someone misunderstood. Expect to modify them to get the trucks to swing freely or handle track that is not perfectly even. Modern? Cautiously optimistic, early signs good. There we have it. If I haven't been informational, I hope I have at least been entertaining. Stay safe out there. The views expressed in this video are those of the video's creator and not necessarily those of the club at which this video was filmed. While I showed detail parts being removed from one of my models, I cannot guarantee the results if you use this method yourself. Modify models at your own risk. If you wish to register a complaint regarding the views of the narrator, you may do so by proceeding to your local comedy club on amateur night, walking up on stage, and delivering your complaint there.